Hi guys.
Hi.
Cool. So straight into it, I guess. For anyone who is watching, this is the last lunchtime chat for Digital Food Week, which is a Leeds indie food production, just celebrating everything indie food in Leeds. I'm India, so I'll be the host, but you know, it will be equal chatting. I run Out in Leeds, which is an Instagram account basically dedicated to helping people find the best food in Leeds. I've been running it for a few years, but it kind of really kicked off over the pandemic when I guess everyone was looking for ways to support their favourite food places. So I think we did a pretty good job of, like, most of the great places in Leeds have managed to survive really well, which is great to see. So if we can all introduce ourselves. Kirsty, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I've lived in Leeds for, since the dawn of time. Went to uni here and then lived here for a few years after. And so I feel like I've always taken pictures of food. I'm obsessed with food and drink. And I had my personal Instagram account, and I got a lot of people saying, well, actually, stop showing us pictures of food. And I was like, I'm just gonna do with my friend Poppy, like a food Instagram account just dedicated to that. And it's been so much fun to do, and it's really made me look for new places to eat and drink, and actually brought new friendships and a new little community to chat to people about who are obsessed with food and drink as I am. So yeah, that's Eat, Drink, Love Leeds, and yeah.
Cool.
I'll go. So I'm Phoebe. I run Eat with Phoebe. I've lived in Leeds for about 6 years, I think. But I'm from Huddersfield originally, so I've been coming to Leeds for quite a while. I think in the past 6 years, I've seen the food scene or food and drink scene just explode. There's seemingly always something new to try, or like a new venue to explore, which is always really exciting to see. I've actually been blogging for I think 11 years this year. It started off as a beauty blog way back when, and it's kind of just grown up with me. So it started as a beauty blog, went into a bit of my lifestyle, and then when I moved to Leeds and kind of really started enjoying the food scene, it moved into that. And then same as India, just in the past year, I've really kind of like honed in on the food scene. And I've loved seeing what some of the indies have done through the pandemic. I think it's just been really impressive to see how a lot of them have kind of adapted to the different situations. So it's been great to have that to shout about.
So yeah, I've lived in Leeds for 10 years, and like the food scene it's insane how different it is.
It really has.
It really has. Like, I came here for uni, and there was basically like McDonald's or Red Tree Barbecue. That's where you'd go to. And obviously, like, as students, we'd go to like Space and Mook and Mint. So then, and yeah, just over the 10 years, but even like the last 5 and 2 years, it's just the landscape's completely changed.
It is really exciting to see new things pop up, and it's not even like, so you've got street food through to like fine dining and everything in between. It's just something for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things that I always try and show off when people do come and visit me. There is literally something for any budget, any taste that you might have, whether you're wanting to plan a big foodie tour of Leeds or you just want to kind of wander around and see what you stumble upon. I think that's another thing that's so great about it.
Yeah, I think compared to other cities, I really like how condensed Leeds is. Like, you can go.
I mean, I rarely leave Yorkshire, to be honest, but
yeah, no, to be fair, like, I mean, I think Leeds is just the best city ever. Like, my aim in life is just to make everyone move here. For all my friends down south. But do you know, if you go to Manchester and you have to get a taxi to go to a different area, and it's
yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can walk from one side to the other in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So when you're on a night out, and well, maybe not so much now because you've got a book everywhere, but it's just easy to come, like, going straight into town and then do a few different bars and just don't have to taxi everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I think even on the like the suburbs or the outskirts of Leeds, they're so easy to get to, and they have like their little bubbles of really great places to go to as well. So even if you're not in for like a massive night out, you don't always have to come into the city centre to explore really good places.
Yeah, I mean, we moved up to Chapelton about 5 years ago, and even like the scene up here in Meanwood, there's just so much to choose from. And it's a 5-minute walk, so you don't even, you don't necessarily have to go into town. There's some really cool stuff on the suburbs as well that's popping up.
Yeah, we just moved to like Stanley, and I was really worried because I used to be in Armley, and it's like 10 minutes from town. I was like, we're not even far from town, but it's like a £10 Uber, which for me is outrageous. So many nice places around, so we're quite excited to explore. Like not when everything needs to be booked, but when we can just go and have a proper explore around. Like Farsley's amazing from what I've already tried and like from what everyone says.
They've got is it Feed?
Yes, so Feed, like they just recently, the guys who used to own it, they like left Leeds and they sold Feed, so it's a sushi place now. But I think like their Vice and Virtue bar is still owned by them. But yeah, I loved having Feed on my doorstep. Like the sushi is nice, but like they did the best burritos when they were like original Feed. And I was saying to Ali, we ordered it once. I was like, right, Alex, we need to order more of these burritos, man. And then they just left, and I was like, well, I'm just not going to get any of these burritos.
That is the thing. I think at the minute it's the same in town, as there is a few handing over or swapping or even closing down after the pandemic, which is really sad. But I think there's also like, now that things are opening back up, there's loads more opportunities, I think, for the indie.
Yeah. So. I feel like as well, like how venues like do their business now is so different. Like over lockdown, everyone was doing the dine at home kits and then like the cocktail delivery kits and like places
we just had well, not just, but we had Owl at Dine at Home.
Yeah, I tried that.
It was so fancy. Like we were like quenelling.
Quenelling.
But we were trying. But even like they were really good because they tell you where to position the food on the plate. And so I mean, everyone wants to post the pictures on Instagram, so it's good that you get like the instructions on where to put things and like how to place things, because that's just something you don't really learn, is it, when you're cooking at home. So I really enjoyed that over lockdown, just the dine at home stuff.
Yeah, same for me. I got super into them, like I think through the end of last year is when they like peaked. But I think they were just like, not only the food lived up to restaurant standards, because I've got a horrible oven and I was scared that nothing would work in it, but it lived up to it. And I think even just like the presentation of the actual box before you cooked anything, so many venues that did it just went out of the way to give like a full experience, which is obviously part of the full experience. So I would like to see that stuff stay, because obviously I don't know what's gonna, once things do get back to normal, if they ever get back to normal, it's like obviously stuff's going to keep changing, and it's whether it goes back to what it was pre-pandemic or if they keep little bits of it.
Did have a couple of bad experiences of the dine at home kits. I'm not going to fully name and shame, but if you want to know, just DM me and I'll tell you the ones to avoid.
I only tried the Owl one and I absolutely loved it. Like, we went a whole year being locked down and I was like, we've not had a date night in forever. Yeah. So we got that, and it felt like we were dining out. Like we had
I got fully dressed up. I put some red lipstick on.
Yeah.
I got into my pajamas like 5 minutes after it was all done. But it was nice to dress up and just feel like you were going out in your kitchen, and it felt like it was an event.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of washing up after. That was my only regret. I was like, wow, there's so many plans.
Oh, it's so nice to be able to be served. And not have to wash up or think about it. Yeah, not cook.
I get the food styled as well, because I just physically, like, I don't know if it's because I'm hungry or if I'm just don't have the eye for it, but I can't plate food up nicely. Like I never photograph my own food. It just looks like trash on a plate.
Certain things like pasta I can just about manage to make look decent, but pretty much everything else just leave it to the experts.
Honestly, there's not a single dish of mine I've ever made that I thought I could Instagram that.
That's why we eat out, though.
Exactly. That is. Speaking of eating out, where have you guys got booked? Like, what are you most looking forward to now? We can eat indoors again, finally.
I've already got Isho and Kirksall Tap Room and Brown's, actually, which is like mine and my mum's.
I've never been to Brown's. Is it nice?
It is really nice, but it's not like, for me, it's literally just 'cause I've always been there with my mum, so it's nice to kind of get back into that.
I think Brown's, it is kind of like a nice family or like parent dinner situation.
Yeah, it's just easy, and it is like, you know, like a traditional little venue.
Yeah.
But I'm also really looking forward to 2 new openings that I'm hoping are coming soon. So there's Brew York, which I think took the place of Feed, and they've got yuzu street food in it.
We drove past it the other day. I was like, ooh, competition for brew dog.
They do the yuzu and the bows and things.
Yeah, we've had those for takeaway a bit recently and really liked them. So I'm looking forward to going there. And also House of Foo, which I think is opening like by Hedgerow House.
Yeah.
And that's been such a long time coming. And that kind of food is just my favourite kind of food. So I'm really looking forward to going there.
I really feel like Leeds has no ramen as well. Like, I've been, when they announced that, like, because it's like part of Ox Club, basically.
It's Holy Ramen Kitchen.
Yeah, but he's not open at the moment, is he? Like, as a ramen place. But I saw when he was it Assembly Underground? Yeah, so everyone, I was like, we need to go, but then the pandemic happened. But yeah, I'm looking forward to House of Foo as well.
I do love Assembly Underground. Just everything it's kind of like Trinity, but it's got loads of booze as well.
Yeah, it's like Trinity but cooler.
Yeah. Looking forward to that opening.
Yeah.
That House of Foo, I think we tried that at Cocktails in the City. Like, it was like a couple of years ago now.
I think they've changed venues that they were going to open at quite a few times, and then they did a pop-up where it was literally just a lunchtime pop-up. Well, it would have been a couple of years ago, but the queue was always like round the block, and they only had obviously a certain amount of ramen to give out, so I never got that. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to being endless ramen.
Yeah.
We're going to Big Buns, is that the right? Yeah, in
Big Buns.
Yeah, in Brooklyn, but there's also one in District as well, isn't there, India?
Yeah. That was weird because, like, for me, District was, going out for drinks after work on a Friday, and there's all these kids, like adults dancing to like trance music, like. So it was proper weird walking through.
You're not as old as me.
But no, it was like it was really nice food, and actually the garden's really nice. Like, it's nice.
I literally didn't know it existed.
Did not know it
existed. The District Garden, like what? I just thought it was not dingy in a cool way, but that was it.
Yeah, like a cool
like dive bar,
yeah. And then, but it's because we used to smoke, so we go out the front. Like, I think vaguely, if I really think about it, I have been in the garden, but it's just a black blur. So it's nice to see it and remember it, and like the food is great.
El Gato Negro, the black cat. We had that booked, but it got rained off, so we've rebooked that tapas place. And Helium Mill, and God, I've booked so much frantically, and my diary's packed, but I can't like think of what they all are now.
So much booked in, like from now till basically July.
I'm looking forward to East Praise Social as well when it gets sunny. The rooftop, that's a good vibe.
I'm really looking forward to when there's no restrictions and it's like walk-ins is just you can walk in.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not very good at planning and I'm not very organised, so I like to kind of go into town, maybe have some food, and then see where the night takes me. But you have to be on the ball now a little bit, like, because you've got your 2 hour, 3 hour slot, and then it's like, well, I don't know where I want to go after that. So it's bad for the drunken person, I guess.
It's not great for drinking, is it? Like, I've just booked my birthday for next month, and it's the weekend where everything reopens. I was like, if I don't get stuff booked in, we're not going anywhere.
That's a good plan.
And everywhere was like basically booked anyway. So just frantically ring around, like, do you have spaces? Got a
Well,
few
going to Springwells again as well. Bless you. Going to Springwells again in Meanwood, which is like a really good outdoor setup, like Chowdown. It's got like little bar boys and all the North Brew company beers, and it's so good when it's sunny. But if it gets cold, it's like you have to bring about 10 different layers with you.
I really want to try it there, but they'll be opening indoor, I assume, next week as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And I watched the beer or brewery chat earlier this week on Digital Food Week, and they said that they're doing up the outside. Oh, that's like a long-term plan to do it up.
I do think that's one good thing about like the outdoor dining is everywhere has such great outdoor seats now, and like if we ever get a good summer, which is looking less and less likely, judging by May so far, it'll be so, because drinking in the sun or having like, you know, lunch in the sun is just unbeatable.
This is the one thing that I thought was maybe missing a little bit in town, that I think everyone's upped the game on now because they've kind of had to. But when, like a couple of years ago, when I went into town and I wanted to drink in a beer garden, there's a couple of rooftops, like the Hedgerow, Belgrave, but they're quite recent. There's hardly anywhere to drink in a beer garden in town. I guess you know, space is an issue, but you know, in Headingley you've got like the original oak, and then in Chapelton there's Mustard Pot, but in town it's a bit tricky. So I feel like everyone stepped the game up a little bit on the outdoor space, which is really good.
Yeah, town used to be terrible. You'd like just have to hope for a place in the courtyard, you know, like where Fibre is.
Or down near McCall's, what's it?
You're talking Air Bar or the one like behind
the Stew and Ice.
Yeah. There was like 4 places. If you didn't get them, you just had to sit in the dark inside and be cold. So I am glad that's happened.
And I am loving the rooftops because I just feel like I just pretend I'm in New York and get all like dressed up and act all bougie on some rooftop with a cocktail.
I have yet to get dressed up because it's just been so cold. Like I'm there in my full puffer jacket. Like this is fine.
You can still get dressed up and put your puffer jacket on.
Yeah, but no one will see. No one will know but me.
Well, yeah, true. Any excuse to get dressed up.
Yeah, I agree. From Monday, that will be me. What's the time? Okay, I thought, you know, talk a little bit about being a food influencer, which I really, you know, I'm not a big fan of the word, but we're not technically bloggers. Although Phoebe, you know, is a real blogger. We're the micro bloggers, you know. I actually used to blog, and I also had a beauty blog, and then like Instagram took over, and I thought absolutely great scenes. I felt there's been loads of food influencers and Instagrammers pop up over the last year. So, you know, for me, it's about how can we actually like positively contribute to the Leeds food scene, because I think we have such a strong. We do like a lot, you know, people do really look to their favorite Instagrammers for recommendations. So, you know, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you think we can make sure that we're contributing to what is already a great food scene?
I do think like authenticity is really important, and being honest about your posts, because although, you know, you can do a lot of positive things, I think if you're not honest about the places that you go to, then, you know, people aren't going to trust, you know, what you're saying. So I think the important thing is to always be honest about the places that you review, and the suggestions, just keep suggesting places and keep trying places, because people, you know, that are new to Leeds might not necessarily know the best places to go. Or I mean, you do like your top 10. I think that's always a good thing to do, like top 10 places to eat in the sun, or and that kind of thing. But just keep suggesting, keep throwing things out there.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And I think, I mean, even me as an influencer, I still discover stuff from other people that I had no idea was even happening. So I think like it's a really nice little community, and there are loads of different kind of voices to go to, but it's just like I always just treat it as that I'm just telling my friends about somewhere I've been.
Yeah.
So equally, people that want to follow you like different voices, or you would have different friend groups or whatever. So it's the same kind of stuff. And you know, ultimately, it's while Leeds is quite small, the food scene is massive. So there's always going to be different recommendations and obviously different opinions on what's out there, or even just trying different dishes. So I think it is just that kind of recommendation, like amplifying the different, especially like new places that are opening, or even old favourites that people might have forgotten about, just to kind of put them back out there.
Yeah, it's not always about the new places that pop up, is it? And in the older places, like you were saying, Phoebe, they've adapted as well. And I think that there's, even though if they've been there for years, they might have like a new menu or something that you need to sort of put out there. And I think as long as people are like enjoying themselves, that's the main thing.
Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely don't take it too seriously. Like I feel like people, me included, get so stressed over Instagram. I'm just like, it's a little square on my phone. I need to just get over it.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I'm like, I get really stressed about posting something. I'm like, what? Why? It's food. It's a plate of food. just get it posted.
At the end of the day, everyone loves No, I totally agree. I think being honest is really important. Like I've had brands where I've been not critical, but you know, just like, I think these are some areas I need to improve. And then they've messaged me and be like, we're looking at it. So then, you know, if they're not getting the honest feedback, people, they can't make their offering better.
There's been places that I've kind of given like real polite feedback and not had anything back. Again, I'm not going to name and shame. The same place that did the terrible dine at home kit, but I think that if you're not going to take the feedback, then there's no point in kind of asking us to review it. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's what we're here to do. So
yeah.
I love that you've just clearly got like a little blacklist of places you're like, I will never go here again.
They've got a chance to redeem themselves.
Yeah. I know I've had it where I've been like, this hasn't been great, but I always think, go back and see how they go. See, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It might have just been like a bad, like one bad day or whatever. So I think other people's comments as well, you don't have to take those too seriously. Everyone's got their own opinion. Like we're not saying that this is like the gospel. You might have gone somewhere and thought it was great. Someone else thought it wasn't. You know, it's not.
People get like, I'll get messages and they're like, well, I went there and I didn't think that's great. I'm like, okay.
Who do you? Yeah.
Yeah, like, cool, don't go then. I can only comment on the food I've eaten, so.
Exactly. And we're not chefs. Well, I'm not a chef, but I just say it how it is and say what I like, and that's literally all we're doing.
Yeah. My reviews are like, this tastes nice. And then you see some people who are like, this is really authentic, and I'm just like, I don't know what it would taste like authentic.
There's only so much you can say about certain things, but like I think it's all about like giving people inspiration to think like, oh, I'm going out on Thursday night and I'm going with my friends and I want to eat some tapas or whatever, or I want an Italian. I'll go and look on Phoebe's page and see what she's eaten recently and stuff. So it's just about like inspiring, I think, and giving, not going to the same places every single time.
Yeah.
Like my dad, who goes to like the same place every time he comes to Leeds, even though I'm like, Dad, there is an absolute like massive Leeds food scene. You're going to this place. Wetherspoons.
Yeah, it's hard though when you've got a favourite.
Wetherspoons, but you know.
I feel like it's because there's places that I'm like, I could eat at this place every day. Like Donna Summer, every day I would eat that. Yeah. But you want to explore new places, and I think it's a struggle. Like, I need to eat out about 12 times a day to get through my list.
add to my list every day, not the blacklist, the where, where to go to eat. I'm like, it's growing and growing and growing, and it's sometimes like it's a bit overwhelming. All these places that I haven't tried and that are, like keep adding to my list. But it's great. I mean, we're so lucky to live in Leeds and have like the absolute variety that we have, and just on a doorstep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I came from like a town where there was like four chain restaurants and that was it. So
I didn't have restaurants. I come from a tiny village in Huddersfield, so I had like your local Indian takeaway, which is excellent to be fair. Got like 3 takeaways, and then otherwise it's a half an hour into Huddersfield or like 45 into Leeds.
Shout out to the South End, so massive. It was one restaurant. God, I can't even remember its name now. But it was an Indian and it was lovely. But I'm glad that I've got variety in my life now, and I love an Indian. But we all need carbs.
You need more cuisine, don't you? It can't just be the same thing every day.
Exactly.
As you know, delicious as it is. Right, I'm conscious it's past and everyone's at work in. So let's finish off. What is your favourite restaurant in Leeds? I know it's a really hard question, but I'll go first while you think about it. Like currently I've got a few for different things, but I actually do think it's done with summer. Like the food is just next level.
When we got that, my boyfriend thought it was like fully meat, and I was telling him it's vegan. It's vegan. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
It does look like meat.
It does look like meat.
It's delicious though. I really like it.
And their fried chicken is like, I don't think anyone in Leeds does good fried chicken. I'm like, Donna, someone do the best fried chicken, and it's not even chicken.
I've got so many, but I think Heaney and Mill really stepped up like last year.
Yeah.
They had the Bavarian market near December, and it was just so nice to be able to like have the German market feel, because they weren't in town. And I think everything they do, so they've had the outdoors, marketplaces, and it's just felt like normal because they've made it feel like normal. And their Reuben, oh my god, their Reuben sandwiches, I know. Like
just the Reuben burger. I got it from your post because I was like, that looks insane, and it was actually ridiculous. I loved it. So I
had to, full disclosure, I had to eat half and then bring the other half because it's massive. But they've got they've just it's nice atmosphere, nice food, and I think they've just really stepped up this last year. It's been great.
Yeah, they did really like raise the bar during lockdown.
And they do a Sunday dinner at home kits as well, which sorry, here we go.
I'm gonna go with like old favourites. So I have to. It's not necessarily a restaurant, but North. Oh my god, it just went out of my head. North Brewing, that's on Sovereign Street, which is right by where I work, is pre-lockdown was literally my second home. And they've obviously got like a little bow boy in there as well, which is delish.
Yeah.
And also Friends of Ham, which is like ultimate Leeds. I haven't actually been there in ages, but I literally recommend that to every single person that comes to Leeds. I love it there.
Friends of Ham for like wine with friends or like a date is just such a vibe.
Yeah. And there's so much to like, because I love just little picky food. So there's so much you can like get just a little plate and then just keep adding on to it.
I have to say House of Cocoa in Chapelton as well, and Fika in Farhead Inley, just for popping out for a coffee and a cake. And I think the cafes over the last year as well have done really well, because that's kind of what we could do if we just go to cafes and get us like lunches sorted.
Yeah.
Have a little walk with a bagel. That was life for me.
That was your life every day, I'm pretty sure. I'm really excited for coffee shops, just like, going for coffee and wrap, just not like having a big deal, just going for a coffee.
Just casual coffee. I think Lobotica Milanese, they've been so good through lockdown, because they've essentially got like a little outdoor space that's not theirs, like it's just like a city square. So even in kind of ultimate lockdown, while they were allowed takeout, it was just a proper nice little vibe with a little bit of sun, eating your pastries. It felt a bit like you were on holiday, actually.
I was just about to say, it sounded. I seen them do Aperol spritz on their Instagram, and I was like, that just looks great. I love it.
Coulter as well. I've got like a massive outdoor area now, which just popped up out of nowhere. I was like walking past one day, I'm like, oh.
They went through like loads of appeals to get the council to approve it, and it just looks amazing. Like,
I'm glad it got approved.
Yeah. All right, gals. Well, thank you for joining me. Anyone who is watching, you can find us on Instagram if you like food and want to find the new places. We're all good eggs. I don't know how we leave this.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Goodbye.